Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa Snow and your host, Greg Phelps.
Welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast. My name is Greg Phelps. Joining me once again is dementia care expert Teepa Snow. And Teepa, credit to you because you sit there and you never know what I'm going to say next.
I never do.
So
it's an adventure, Greg. It's an adventure. I'm into adventuring with you.
Here's just a few of the latest dementia headlines this week, and I'm sure you've seen them already. Decade-long study finds link between lithium and Alzheimer's disease. And while I go down a lot of rabbit holes in search of topics, I'm not sure what care partner really need. Do they need that sort of stuff? Or maybe you can help us out with some basic things that if I'm going to be a care partner, what tools do I need? Give me some.
Yeah, well, one is find a good resource and follow that and quit looking down rabbit holes so much because, man, you can waste a lot of time, effort, and energy depending on where you are. If you're a partner who's truly decided, okay, we've got dementia, we're not going to beat it, we're not going to get rid of it. So how do we work with what we've got right now? If that's the case, then you're really looking for care support. And you're really wanting to know, okay, here's the situation I'm in, and here's what I'm likely to encounter. So my next question is, are you worried about right now? Are you thinking about your future? And what do I need to think about as I'm moving forward? Because right now we're doing okay, but I'm curious about moving forward. What are some things I should be thinking about? Or are you a care partner who's in crisis? I mean, we're in a mess. I don't know what to do. I think what we have is, a dementia. So depending on where you are, for me, that's a starting place. And if you're interested in being a true partner, then you're looking not only for yourself, but you're also thinking about the person that you're partnering with, the person living with dementia. And you're thinking, wonder what they're needing right now. Could they need some peer support? I mean, is it good for them to be talking to somebody? Who around them is doing okay and who around them is really struggling with this thing that they're living with?
A couple of recent discussions. One was a person who said that their person's dementia had come on suddenly, which I found quite curious. And then another person who was saying, no, it's been a long, rocky road for us. So when you've met one person living with dementia, how does that go?
Yeah. And when you've met one care partner and their appreciation of what, because sometimes if I've only been seeing someone on the surface and I've only been around them and when they're in a decent place and all of a sudden I experience them very differently, then to me, it came out of nowhere. But sometimes if I look more carefully about their environment, about how they've been spending a little time talking to people who've been interacting with them on a more deeper, regular basis, all of a sudden I might have a different picture in my mind as a partner than I did when I thought she was doing okay. This is what happens a lot, Greg, when families come in from out of town, like for a holiday or an event, or somebody comes to visit them, and suddenly it's like, whoa, what is going on here? Or someone passes or is no longer able to provide support. And that's when the bag get opened and it's like, because, sometimes things are slow and sometimes things are quick, but there's almost always, if it's quick, there's something else happening there that we should get super curious about because it's almost always what we call multifactorial.
So a bit of a red flag there, you stop and
yeah, we want to investigate because is there also an element of a delirium from something that's acutely wrong? Is there also possibly some mood disturbance that's kicked up for some reason? Is there an environmental phenomena that's causing these shifts that we should get curious about? Is there a time use phenomena that has really drastically changed or medications that have shifted they didn't get their medicines last month. Oh, all right. So suddenly, when you start remembering that there are puzzle pieces you got to look at in these situations as a care partner, it keeps you honest and also keeps you from going too far down a road that isn't one you want to, like your lithium thing. Dad was on lithium 30 years ago. It's like, I'm not sure that's where we are right now. So don't read that article. I'm not sure it's going to help you out right now.
So it's difficult for people to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And I think you have a puzzle that people can actually sort of work through.
We do. We do. We have the 6 pieces of the puzzle, 3 of which belong and are part of the person living with the condition, and 3 are the ones around that person that we got to get a handle on, because we want to figure this out before we get too far down the road. Because otherwise, we're trying to make huge changes all at once. And if you want something to look like a worsening of dementia, change a whole bunch of stuff at once and see what happens. Because
It,
none of us do well when we trick our brain like that.
and I think one of the keys is just don't assume, because you have resources. And my first consultation is no charge, is it?
Yeah, that's right. When we kick this off, I mean, we want to make sure that we're there to provide that initial support. And if you want to read stuff and look at stuff, we can get you that. If you want to talk, we can get you that. But then, we do, unfortunately, we aren't funded through some governmental agency, or we don't receive massive amounts of funding from somebody. So we've got to recoup our loss for time, because unfortunately, we're all supposed to be working still, more or less. So we've got to figure out how to do that. But we do our very best to give you something that can make a difference in your world and in your life in the resources we have available.
Teepa, thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Positive Approach to Care. For more information on today's program, go to teepasnow.com.